Hey guys, we are back. I took a little bit of a break because Uncle Nabil is getting old. But I'm well rested and I'm reloaded, man. I'm Nabil Abdulrashid and this is Nabil Knows. So much is being made out of the reduced rights in Afghanistan. It's almost as if this country has never even been given a chance to develop. If I didn't know any better, I would say it's a nation full of people suffering from PTSD, from witnessing war crime. But hey, it doesn't matter because people from these same countries that have dropped bombs and massacred villages of women and children, the same women and children that we're now pretending to care about, now everybody wants to act like they care. The same people who are so concerned about girls going to school in Afghanistan are the same ones that justify girls being bombed in schools in Gaza. I mean, look, I'm just saying. I don't know what version of Islam the Taliban think they're practicing because the first university to exist was founded by a Muslim woman. But that's a subject for another day.
So would people be allowed to vote in women politicians?
Say we have two children and one child was raised in a home where there was consistent food, money, both parents were available, cousins, aunties, uncles, electricity, in a warm household. And the other child was subjected to domestic abuse from home and abuse at school and was constantly beaten and starved and didn't grow up with clean water, electricity. I would expect some of the traumas from those things to surface in the way that child becomes when they're an adult. Same thing when you have a country that since the time of Alexander the Great has not been allowed to exist in peace because different people have wanted to invade it for different reasons. I'm not saying that the Taliban are right. All I'm saying is maybe let's just sit this one out and watch how the country evolves. And yes, I know super duper feminists will be angry with me, but all I'm saying is it wasn't that long ago that women in this country weren't allowed to vote, or in America. Maybe if they didn't have arrested development from the continued invasions and bombings, they'd have developed to a point where they figure out that perhaps letting girls go to school is a good idea. That being said, Taliban, if you're watching, I love the work you're doing now. The tourism sector is great. You guys have great PR, but let the girls go to school. So, the people them are complaining about the early release. Who would have thought that just arresting people over bullshit charges and putting them in jail would eventually backfire? I mean, they're opening mega prisons, but I guess they can't fill them up fast enough. I don't know. Now, some people are upset because a lot of inmates are being put in hotels. Same hotels they put Schrodinger's migrants, you know, the ones that steal all the jobs while not working and claim the benefits. Those migrants are now in these same hotels. Where do you think the money is coming from to pay for them being in prison? At one point, it cost £36,000 a year to keep inmates in jail. I think it now costs closer to £80,000 a year to keep people in jail, which is hugely ironic when you consider the fact that most people in prison are in prison for financial reasons, except of course if they're white middle class, in which case they're probably a nonce. But what statistics in it? Fucking grooming gangs coming over here stealing our victims. Yeah. Like 30 members of the EDL were caught nonsense. They didn't say anything. But when a foreigner does it, then it's a problem. This boy in Southport kills a bunch of kids. Oh, how dare you come and kill our children? Only white nurses like Lucy Letby should be. Anyway, topic for another day. But yeah, I'm just joking about the white middle class nonsense going to prison. They don't go to prison. They get suspended sentences. Hey, I didn't say anybody's name. But you know who I'm talking about. You know, innit? You know. Now, consider the fact that many people in prison are in there for non-violent offenses. You can go to jail now over TV license. Any kind of fine that's over like £1,000, you could end up in jail for. People can go into prison for stupid things. I don't think anybody should be in prison for weed. I don't consume it myself, but I don't think anybody should be in prison. Because when you send people to prison, what you're doing is you're sending them to the University of Crime, where they can meet with people who are black belt, PhD level criminals in the same crime. So like, for example, say I am selling weed. You then send me to prison. Instead of doing something like community service or whatever, you send me to prison. I then meet with Pablo goddamn Escobar, who's not coming out of jail for maybe another 20 years, but he still has connections outside. What do you think is going to happen with me? Because if I come out of jail, I'm going to have a criminal record, which will stop me from getting a regular job. But I've made connections with richer, more powerful criminals that can help me make even more money through crime. Average reoffending rate of ex-offenders, I think, is over 60%. The recall rate is something like 80%. Prison is a waste of money. Unless you're a killer, child abuser, or R-worder, these guys, terrorists, they should be in jail. In other countries, you catch somebody stealing, you beat them up, you take what they stole, you Bob's your uncle. Here, we are sending people to prison for driving offenses that were not lethal, like they parked the wrong place. We're sending people to prison for fines and things that they couldn't pay because they didn't have the money to pay. People are out here abusing other people, grooming. They're being given suspended sentences. There's too many people in prison. The prison establishment is a joke, unless, of course, you're going to Wandsworth. Come on! Say, man, are snitching just so they could go to that prison right now, boy.
Damn, Trey, I ain't seen your ass in a minute, bro.
What's up,
You still be cracking cars, nigga?
hell no.
You still be cracking cars? Bank cards?
The roads ain't the same no more. But no, that aside, unless we bring back the wiping of criminal records, prisons are a waste of time. Because all you're doing is creating more crime. Why? Because guys go into jail, come out, they're unable to get jobs, so they have to commit even more crimes. The guy that runs Timson's taking over prisons is a good idea if he agrees to hire ex-offenders, although there is something about teaching criminals how to make locks and change them, but that can go all kinds of wrong. The government needs to draft some kind of bill, because if not, the slightest offense means people cannot get jobs, right? People cannot get jobs, and so they end up committing more crime, and we end up paying more money to keep them in jail and feed them. More of that funding should be put into rehiring people, getting people to, actually rehabilitating people. In fact, there should be apprentices, there should be workshops. Most guys in prison are in there as well because they're not very academic, right? And there are no apprenticeships, these days for them to go and do this. They don't have trades. We should be investing more in trades and things to help these guys turn their lives around. Only really violent people and really dangerous people deserve to be in prison. Everyone else should be given a genuine second chance. And you can't do that with a criminal record. So yes, letting people out is the first step. The second step is investing in mental health and investing in trades, because the majority of the people who are being hit by this are the working class and, of course, ethnic minorities. Don't get me wrong, I think people who are proven to be sexually violent should be castrated, not chemically, but actually. But that aside, anyone else, because there was this guy that assaulted a woman not long after being released. But this is why I don't understand. These guys who are clearly a danger, who are clearly predators, are given suspended sentences, let out early. But then people who say something offensive on Facebook are being visited by feds. It makes no sense. In fact, a couple of years ago, police came out and said that they were no longer going to be arresting people for having child geography on their devices. But then they've got enough police officers to stop and search me, for being fabulous. It doesn't make any sense at all. So until we correct these things, there are going to be problems. This just in, comedian Lucy Beaumont put up a bunch of pictures showing the disproportionate booking of male comedians to female comedians in the UK comedy circuit, which I guess is fair, but then one has to ask, what is the ratio of active professional female comics to active male comics in the comedy circuit? And as far as I'm aware, the recent list shows that there are 400 female comics? That's not that much. We don't even know. The active male comics are probably in the thousands, and comedy is competitive. I see that and raise, how many of them comics were black? Victim Olympics time. It's tough, man. Comedy has always been a white man's sport in the UK, and I guess across the pond too, except maybe in Nigeria. Even if every single female comic was booked at the same time, the majority of comedy gigs, professionally run comedy gigs, would still be predominantly white men. It's just one of those things. I remember when I first started doing comedy, and I would call a comedy club and ask to be booked, and they would tell me, oh, we had so and so black guy last week, so we can't have you next week, because apparently having two black people on in the same month will cause a rip in the space-time continuum. You know, you're still better off being a white female comic in the comedy circuit than being a black male comic. At least when you complain, people listen to you. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to fight for equality, fight for everyone's equality. Let's fight also for black male and female comics too. I sound like one of them all lives matter guys. Yeah, that's right. All comedians matter, Lucy. All comedians. I'd like to thank you for watching this episode of Nabil Knows. I would like to send dua, thoughts and prayers for the families of those affected in my homeland of northern Nigeria by the recent floods. These have affected me personally, even my family home. People I know, people who are close to me have been affected by these, and I know a lot of people have lost their lives. So, we pray for Nigeria. Anybody who's interested in helping, have a look at the link here below. Yeah, God bless Nigeria.